Hello everybody, and thanks for coming back to my channel. Sorry if you suffer from motion sickness because I'm holding the camera in front of my face today because I'm actually going to do a rant, so I didn't really see the need to like set up my tripod or anything. I just wanted to do a rant video. If you're not familiar, my name's Riley and I'm a full-time reseller on Etsy, eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, and Relove. So it's safe to say I've pretty much had experience, or I have experienced all of the reselling and buying apps there are out there, because I've even tried some out that didn't work for me. So it's safe to say I can kind of judge how the platforms treat their sellers and their buyers at this point. So before I start my rant about an experience that happened to my fiance and I on eBay not too long ago, this is not supposed to be a controversial video. I like keeping the positive vibes going. I don't really post about my slow days or the negative sides of the business because I want to just keep the positive vibes going in the reseller community. I mean, we all have slow days. We all have probably had a bad experience by now. But I also really appreciate other sellers who are in the reseller community. I really appreciate their openness, their transparency, their honesty. So it kind of brings this whole reselling community back down to earth sometimes. And personally, as a seller, I love watching other sellers. Oh, I have a flyaway. I love watching other sellers rant videos because I can so relate to it. Not so much the sellers who are like kind of bashing customers who just want to return. I mean, that's a little excessive. Like, just be happy that they wanted to buy from you in the first place. I'm not even gonna go into that. So I kind of thought I would do a rant video on my own. It's about eBay. So before I start my rant video, this is not supposed to be controversial, and I seriously love making YouTube videos. I don't know why, but just like reading other people's comments, it's just an outlet to like express, to share my journey really. I don't know why that intrigues me as much as it does, but I guess my last controversial video wasn't even supposed to be controversial. That's the best part. I just made a video on the 3 reasons why I stopped going to the Goodwill outlet, and it accumulated like 12,000 views, which I really wasn't expecting because most of my views, I mean, get a few thousand, but whatever. And I was very adamant at the fact that I don't care where you get your inventory from. I was never dogging or dissing the Goodwill outlets or sellers who shop there. As a matter of fact, I used to love going there. I just shared my experiences as to why I stopped going there. And apparently I rubbed a couple people the wrong way on YouTube. Imagine that. So there were a couple of comments that said that they wasted 9 minutes of their life watching my video, which I'm sure it was because in the title it said horror story, and they were expecting me to like find a dead body or a severed limb in one of the bins, and it wasn't that bad because I'm not a Hollywood movie script. I'm actually a real person, and this is reality. So if you're expecting another climax like that, like eBay sending me a dead body in a box, go ahead and dislike this video and leave your hate comment right now and save yourself the 9 minutes. Anyways, I had to get that out because this is my channel and I'm allowed to make a damn rant video without getting attacked. Although it's 2019, so I really don't know what I was expecting. So anyway, if you're a part of the reseller community, you're probably well aware, oh my gosh, these flyaways. You're probably well aware that a lot of people have a lot to say about eBay when it comes to their policy towards sellers. And I think with most of the platforms out there like Poshmark and Etsy, I feel like there's a mutual level of respect between the buyer and the seller. And I feel like there's about an even level of respect towards the buyer and the seller from the company's standpoint. So I think a lot of these companies realize, although the customer is the most important, you don't have customers if you don't have sellers. You can't have an egg without a chicken. So I think most of the platforms out there realize this, but for some reason, eBay just always falls behind. And I see a lot of people who have left eBay, a lot of people as sellers who no longer use eBay or just really can't stand eBay because they treat their sellers like crap sometimes, let's be honest. So a lot of you may be thinking, well, if you don't like eBay, just leave eBay. Well, no, I won't, because this is my channel and this is my business and this is my job, and you can leave eBay. That's what I have to say about that. I'm just preparing myself. So anyway, I'm gonna cut to the chase. I personally, knock on wood, I have not had a return on eBay on my personal account, but I'm gonna share with you what happened to my fiance a couple of weeks ago, because what's his is mine, what's mine is his. I mean, we have kids together, we live together, come on. So he sold like a, what is it called, a modem or a router, like an internet router. He sold it for like $80 with free shipping. And the buyer received it, used it for like 20 days, and then they decided they wanted to return it. So they never really had a reason why they wanted to return it. They just decided they wanted to return it. It wasn't flawed or anything. So my fiance accepted the return. He didn't really want to go through a claim because he knew that if he paid for return shipping, he could still make money from listing it back on eBay and selling it again because there was nothing wrong with it. Now keep in mind, my fiance he's been on eBay for over a decade. He has 2,500 or more at this point positive reviews on eBay, so he really knows what he's doing. Well, we received the router and it was missing the bottom base. So we don't know if the person bought it because theirs was missing the base and they wanted it, but this was a type of router that it can't stand up on its own without the base. So he knew if he was going to try to sell it again, he was pretty much going to ultimately lose money, because not only did he have to pay shipping twice on that product, but there were a lot of other ones listed that had the base, so he was going to really have to slash his price. So he messaged the buyer and they just never responded. So at this point, he kind of like let me know about it, but I kind of blew it off because I'm like, well, eBay will fix it. Like, you know, somebody can't just send back half of a product and get a full refund. So he like messaged eBay or whatever, contacted customer service via email, something like that. And they told him that there was nothing they could do without much of an explanation. So when he told me this, at this point, I'm like, the buyer never responded to those. I don't know. So I told my fiance, I was like, well, eBay, like, they have to make it right. They can't just do that. I mean, that's like me selling a pair of shoes and the customer keeping one shoe and then returning one shoe, and eBay telling me there's nothing they can do. Well, now I'm out the shipping of this item, whatever I originally paid, and I mean, I'm just, like, I'm totally screwed. Like, that, they can't do that. But I'm still thinking, like, okay, he had a bad egg for an eBay representative. They'll fix it. So he calls and speaks to somebody who tells him that because the case is closed, there's nothing they could do. I don't remember if the case was closed or not, actually, at this point. I know he wouldn't have closed the case if he only received part of the product, but regardless, they tell him there's nothing they can do, and then they end up transferring him to another line. And they tell him the same thing. And he's very passive, he's very polite, and he doesn't really like to argue, so he just kind of accepted it and hung up the phone, and then he told me. And I like to consider myself like a calm person, but when he told me this, I was like, oh, honey, no, no. You're gonna call eBay and they're gonna make this right, because they can't do that. That's a no-no. So he called again a couple hours later, and I coached him through it. And, you know, I was like, you got to be stern. You got to kind of put your foot down, because these representatives, they don't care about you or your business. You'd think that they would see that he had all these positive, you know, reviews. He's been on here for 10 years. They'd consider that, but I guess it doesn't matter when you sell on eBay. And at this point, I didn't care about the money. I didn't care if this thing only cost $1. It was the point of it. It was a matter of the fact. I'm trying to coach him through, but I can already tell he's accepting something when he should be asking, no, there's more you can do. And so he kind of looks at me and he just shook his head. And I'm like, give me the phone, give me the phone. Because, you know, I'm right next to him, we're in the car at this point. I'm like, give me the damn phone, give me the damn phone. And he wouldn't. So he hangs up, turns to me and says, well, they said that there's nothing they can do, but they closed the case and gave me a 10% off my next purchase coupon. You guys, I was like, what? What? So you're telling me somebody can order a $900 brand new computer, take it apart, take out the part they need to fix their computer, and send it back useless without the part, so they can just, a buyer on eBay can just scam anybody? Is that what you're telling me? Like, I was taking it out on this poor man because I was so mad that he accepted that. And he was like, I know, it's stupid. They screw you over. Like, this kind of thing has happened to me before. So, that is my eBay rant. That is so wrong to me. And ever since that happened, although it wasn't that long ago, I refuse to list something of any value on eBay anymore. My fiance obviously will, because he's a sucker. He has a lot of hope and humanity, and my hope is kind of like hanging in there, but his is strong. But my more expensive and valuable items, or items that are rare or that are special or that I really appreciate, I'm not going to list them on eBay anymore, for the fact that I don't want to sell a $75 pair of jeans and have a customer return them with a cigarette burn in them, even though they were brand new when I sent them out. I don't want to take the chances of doing that, so I will no longer sell anything that I want to take a risk on eBay. And even before this incident, my fiance told, he warned me before I opened up my eBay. He said, there are going to be some weird people on there, and eBay always sides with the customer no matter how ridiculous their claim is. But I kind of brushed it off, and I'm like, well, that's just a part of the business. And every package that I sent out, I kind of really had my fingers crossed, right? Because if I send out something, like when I send out my Poshmark and Etsy packages, I'm just happy that I'm selling something. I'm really proud of them. I have them wrapped all cute and I send them out. But on eBay, I have like this anxiety that takes over me as I send it out. Like, what if I get one of those like dud customers? Which really isn't fair if you think about it. Like, that so many, and I'm not the only one who experiences this. It's really not fair that sellers have to be so weary that they can get screwed over and burned like that. And I think the problem with eBay is they've openly admitted, I think, during like eBay Open, that they have Amazon to compete with, which is like, free shipping and free returns no matter what. But I think what eBay fails to realize is they did not start out as Amazon. They started out as a like online auction garage sale thing where people would sell their used personal items and kind of make some of their money back. That's where they started. And I think eBay kind of lost its roots because they are trying so hard to compete with like Amazon and Walmart online and stuff like that. So that is my rant about eBay. I know some of you are going to take this video and just say, who knows? I don't even want to get into it. But that's my rant. I think that eBay has a lot of work to do. I think if they, obviously they're a huge multi-billion, million, I don't know, dollar business. They're not going to go anywhere anytime soon. But if the sales start plummeting in the future, I mean, I'll find other sites to sell on, right? So anyway, that's my rant. If you watched this entire rant, I really appreciate you. I'm so sorry if you felt that you wasted the last 14 minutes of your life. I appreciate every minute of my life that I can get. So anyway, I also want to know, so I do read all of my YouTube comments, although it does take me a while to respond, only because I like to read them in clusters so I can kind of respond to everybody. Like, not at once, but I like to sit down with my afternoon coffee and do my responses. But I do read all of my comments. So let me know if you've had any bad experiences on eBay. If you disagree with me, let me know respectfully, please. Even if you had a bad experience on another site as far as like a return, let me know. Because I mean, this is genuinely like a hobby of mine. It's not only my job, but it's a hobby, it's a passion. So I like reading other people's stories and other people's opinion on this kind of stuff. So let me know down below in the comments what has happened to you, whether you're a buyer or a seller. If you found a severed limb in one of your eBay packages, just let me know. So as always, thank you so much for watching. Happy selling, and I will leave a link to my Instagram down below in the description.